Okay, so welcome to Quick Calculus, and in this video, we'll be having an example on limits at infinity. Okay, so we have here limit as x approaches negative infinity of square root of 4x squared plus 1 minus 2x plus 1. Okay, so ano yung unang-una natin na ginagawa ulit kapag nag-evaluate tayo ng limits? We try to plug in. Okay, so we can try to plug in square root ng 4 times negative infinity squared plus 1 minus 2 times negative infinity plus 1. Okay, so again, negative infinity times negative infinity. So this will just become positive infinity. So this will become square root of 4 times infinity squared, or just infinity, plus 1 minus 2 times negative infinity. So magiging plus 2 infinity plus 1. So 4 times infinity. So this is just infinity plus 1. So this is just equal to positive infinity. And eto na yung sagot, no? Positive infinity na siya agad. Pero the thing is, I want to show you yung method using yung mga sinasabi natin, to factor, to simplify, to multiply by the conjugate. Okay? So let's try to do that. So limit as x approaches negative infinity of square root of 4x squared plus 1 minus 2x plus 1. So, ginagamit natin again yung conjugate kapag ka meron tayong square roots. And in this case, we have a square root. So, let's try to multiply by the conjugate. So, para ma-multiply natin to by the conjugate, let's try to make this into the term na square root of a plus b. So, we can rewrite this to be square root ng 4x squared plus 1 minus 2x minus 1. Tama? So now, we can multiply by the conjugate, no? So, paano yun? So, let's do limit as x approaches negative infinity. Square root ng 4x squared plus 1 minus 2x minus 1 times square root ng 4x squared plus 1 plus 2x minus 1 all over square root ng 4x squared plus 1 plus 2x minus 1. Okay? So, bakit natin ginawa tong step na to? Ginawa natin siya para makapag-multiply tayo ng conjugate na 2x minus 1. Okay? So, we can now try to simplify yung ating limit. No? So, limit as x approaches negative infinity. So, this will become 4x squared plus 1 minus 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 all over square root ng 4x squared plus 1 plus 2x minus 1. Okay, so pwede na tayong mag-cancel ng ating mga terms. So, cancel to, cancel to, cancel to, cancel to. Okay, so ang matitira na lang sa atin would be limit as x approaches negative infinity ng 4x all over square root ng 4x squared plus 1 plus 2x minus 1. Okay, so sabi natin in our previous video na limit as x approaches positive infinity or negative infinity ng c over x to the n ay equal sa 0. So what we can do is to try and multiply by 1 over square root of x squared to the numerator and the denominator. So bakit natin minumultiply by 1 over square root of x squared? Ba't hindi na lang 1 over x? So minumultiply natin siya by 1 over x squared dahil we have a term here na merong x squared. Okay? So, para makapag-combine tayo na ating mga terms. Okay? Pero before that, what we need to do is to get the definition of square root of x squared. So, what do we mean by that? No? So, pag sinabi natin na square root of x squared, hindi lang naman to equal sa x. Tama? This is equal to absolute value of x. Tama? And absolute value of x ay equal sa x if x is greater than or equal to 0 and equal siya sa negative x if x is less than 0. Okay? So, since we are getting the limit as x approaches negative infinity, yung gagamitin natin na definition would be negative x. Okay? So, hindi lang natin siya pwede basta-basta na i-multiply by 1 over x. Kailangan gamitin natin yung absolute value definition. So, if we simplify now, this will become limit as x approaches negative infinity. So, yung 4x natin dito, divided by 1 over negative x. So, this will become negative 4. Okay? All over, yung square root ng 4x squared plus 1 natin would become square root ng 4 plus 1 over x squared. Then yung 2x magiging minus 2. Then yung negative 1 magiging plus 1 over x. So nag-divide lang tayo by 1 over negative x. Okay? And sabi natin na that the limit again of x approaches positive infinity or negative infinity ng c over x to the n ay equal sa 0. So we get this to be equal to 0 and this to be equal to 0. What do we have here? No? So we get the limit as x approaches negative infinity ng negative 4 all over this is 0 minus. Okay? So negative over negative, this will be equal to positive infinity. So same na same yung sagot natin from our direct plug-in method and using this method. Okay? So ito yung una nating example for limits at infinity. So see you in the next video.